Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have a makeup haul for you. I did some shopping at Ulta, Colourpop, the drugstore, and Amazon, and I figured I would share some purchases with you guys. But I figured to spice it up a little bit and to make it a little bit more informal and in-depth rather than just showing you guys what I purchased, I figured that I do mini reviews on all of these products. Some of these products I did get to test out more than others, and I have really solid thoughts on. I have strong opinions on some of these products. Others I've just tried once or twice, and I want to give you guys like a basic first impression, but I figured it would be more helpful that way. Instead of just talking to you guys about stuff that I've purchased, I figured we could do like mini reviews. I have some try-on clips for some of the products, up close swatches, and all of that good stuff. So I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video and enjoy this style of video, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started into the haul. The first product that I picked up recently that I have a lot of thoughts on is the new e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer. So I actually filmed a whole first impression and wear test video on this concealer, and I didn't end up uploading it because it was just a hot mess. If we're being completely honest, if I'm keeping it real with you guys, I did not use this concealer correctly, or at least for the first impression I didn't. I used way too much of this concealer. It was creasing like crazy. I wasn't obsessed with how it looked, and it felt really heavy under the eyes. So I figured instead of just uploading that video and constantly questioning, did I use too much of the product? Did I not apply it right? I wanted to give myself more time to test it out so then I could give you guys more solid thoughts on it. This is the concealer that I'm wearing today. I will insert the little application right here. So this concealer retails for $5. It is available in 18 shades, and I have the shade light beige. So when it comes to this concealer, I found that the best method is less is definitely more. I am very heavy-handed with my concealer, and in my original application with this, I used way too much concealer and it was very creasy. It felt very heavy under the eyes, and I felt like it didn't last that long, and it also was very just dry and heavy underneath my eyes. Now that I've used it a little more, I have to say I'm still not absolutely obsessed with it. I still do think it looks dry underneath the eye, but the less product that I do use, the better that it looks. And I also have it on top of a little bit more of a dewy / natural finish foundation today, and it sat on top of the skin better than on top of a matte and more full coverage foundation. So this definitely took a little bit of playing around with. I usually don't love products that I have to alter my routine so much or what I'm comfortable with doing in order to make it work, but I feel like for a $5 concealer, it was something that I was willing to make work, especially since I know a lot of people can't afford Tarte Shape Tape or the Too Faced Born This Way. I definitely wouldn't say that this is a complete alternative. Definitely not full coverage like the website says it is, but I feel like it's a pretty decent medium coverage, and I do like it for day-to-day wear. This is one of the products that I did want to go a little bit more in depth in, just because I found something a little bit weird with the availability of shades in this concealer. So if you guys just want to skip over this and go to the next product in this haul, you could go to this time right here, but I want to just stick on this e.l.f. concealer for a few minutes. I took a lot of notes when I did my first impression video, and I still feel like some of these things are important to share with you. So like I mentioned earlier, this concealer does come in 18 shades. What I found weird is that 11 of them are online only, and all of the tan to deep shades are online only. So I feel like that was a little bit weird and sketchy. I don't know if it's because the concealer is so new, they don't have the availability yet in store, if they're having shipment issues, but I felt like that was really weird. So I will pop a chart on the screen that I actually made for you guys and also read the online only shades. So 2 of the first online only shades are Fair Rose and Light Beige, and then from this point on, all of the rest are tan to rich shades. So Tan Sand, Tan Walnut, Tan Latte, Deep Olive, Deep Chestnut, Deep Cinnamon, Rich Chocolate, Rich Cocoa, and Rich Ebony are all online only shades. I'm really hoping that they figure that out soon. I'm really happy that we are seeing somewhat of a bigger shade range compared to what e.l.f. used to have. I feel like this is a really big improvement, but I do feel very disappointed in the fact that a lot of those tan to rich shades are online only. I feel like shopping in store, everyone should be able to find their shade. So that was definitely a disappointment in the concealer, but if you guys can find your shade, I definitely would recommend checking it out. I feel like I said, it took a little bit of working with and adjusting. Less is more, like I said a million times, but I feel like it looks pretty nice in the end, and I really can't complain too much about it. One more thing that I noticed about the shade range in this concealer is that the light shades are pretty gray toned and pinky rosy toned. I feel like brands need to realize that there are fair skin tones out there with yellow undertones, and there are a lot of them. So I definitely feel like the shade range could use some improvement. Also the online only issue, I hope that gets figured out. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on the e.l.f. concealer, you guys. I know it was a lot, but I hope it was helpful. I did have a whole video on this concealer, but I just didn't feel very comfortable uploading it, knowing that I felt like I put way too much concealer on, and it wasn't the concealer's fault, but more my application method. So next up for my Ulta order, I picked up two foundations that I've been really wanting to try out. One a little bit newer than the other, and that is the one that I'm wearing on my face today. This is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I have been seeing this all over my YouTube feed, you guys, and for such a good reason. I absolutely love this foundation. This is the foundation that I'm wearing today, and I think it looks really great on the skin. I wear mine in the shade 420 True Beige, and I've been absolutely loving this. One thing that I don't like about this is that it is a scented foundation. I have sensitive skin, and I'm very sensitive to fragrances in my cosmetics as well. I really don't see that scents in foundations and concealers or in any makeup is really necessary, but this does have a fragrance, and I believe it's because it does have some SPF in there. So this foundation is SPF 25, which I think is really good. I don't find that it makes me extra oily or anything like that. This definitely is not as matte and as high coverage as something like the Maybelline Superstay foundation, but I do feel like it has a really nice coverage. I would say it's a really strong medium to full coverage. Like I said, it's what I'm wearing today, and I feel like it looks very natural on the skin. It covers what I want it to cover. It's very smoothing. It almost has like an airbrush type effect while being still very lively, slightly dewy, but not overly dewy. I just think it's the perfect everyday foundation. To me, it doesn't compare to my Maybelline Superstay, which is very, very full coverage, matte kind of finish, but I feel like just if I wanted to tone it down a little, if I want to throw something on with a little mascara and go to class, this is a great foundation for that because it has the coverage that I like while looking very natural and feeling very lightweight on the skin. Also, 420 True Beige is an absolutely perfect match for my neck and my skin tone. I want to say it's a little bit light for me, you guys, but I'm, like I said in my last video, I always tend to wear my foundations a little bit too dark because I like the undertone to match more than the actual shade. So like the undertone of the Maybelline Superstay 120 is way better for me than the shade up, and also like Fenty 190, that undertone is great for me, whereas the actual shade is a little bit too dark. So I feel like I prefer my undertones to match rather than the shades. This is literally like my perfect shade and my perfect undertone all in one. So I definitely really love the shade. I hope you guys can see just how well it actually matches my skin, and I really do like it. So this was a huge hit for me, and I'm so happy that I ended up picking this up. The other foundation that I picked up in that Ulta haul was the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I know that this has been out for a while, but I hadn't tested it out, and I really wanted to give it a shot, and I had an Ulta gift card for Christmas for my stepsister, so thank you so much for that. I definitely put it to good use. But I heard a lot of people loving this foundation. I heard it was very full coverage, very matte, and to me that reminds me a lot of my Maybelline Superstay, so I figured I would give this a try. I feel like I can't fairly judge this foundation because I did only try it one time. Off of first impression, I have the shade F7. I don't know if F7 is perfect for me. I feel like the foundation oxidized a little bit, maybe turned like a little bit orangey on me. As far as the actual formula goes though, this is very mattifying. If you do not like full coverage matte foundations, I don't think that you would like this. This really emphasized a lot of the texture on my face, but I also made the mistake of using this with a mattifying primer because I was at a friend's house and it was the only thing that I had with me at the time. I used my Fenty primer. So next time I test this out, I definitely want to use moisturizer underneath. I definitely want to use a hydrating primer underneath, or just a normal smoothing primer, and I want to see how this goes. But I actually, from far away, I feel like this is going to be a good filming foundation. If you are a fellow YouTuber, I feel like you know what I mean by a filming foundation, meaning it's so full coverage and airbrushed looking and matte that it looks amazing on camera, but in person it definitely could look a little bit makeup-y and heavy and dry, if that makes sense. But I will definitely keep you guys updated when I test this out more in a future favorites video or regrets video, disappointing products video, however this ends up working. I also wanted to mention that this was one of those products that I feel like my skin was dying for for Fix Plus all day when I had it on. I usually don't feel that way, and I want to say it's because I had the double mattifying going on my skin, like mattifying primer and the mattifying foundation. I kept squirting Fix Plus on my face like all day, but I will definitely keep you guys posted, like I said, and let you know how this continues to work out for me. The last item that I had in that Ulta order, I don't have with me because I actually ended up returning it already because I just didn't like it at all, unfortunately, and that is the Freeman's Apple Cider Vinegar Face Mask. I picked this up because Juicy Jazz loves these face masks. I've heard so many great things about these face masks, and the whole tube is only $4, but unfortunately this just didn't work for me. I kind of knew as soon as I put it on, it had a very, well, first of all, it is an exfoliator as well as a face mask. So inside this face mask, it has a lot of those little exfoliating beads, but this was very, very rough on the skin. Definitely not a gentle exfoliator. So when I was applying the mask, it was almost a little bit painful, I want to say. And then I had the mask on literally for about 3 or 4 minutes, and my skin got so tight and it just started to burn. And it's recommended that you leave the face mask on for 10 minutes, and I felt like I couldn't even leave it on my face. I really just felt like I couldn't last the 10 minutes with the mask on my face. It was really bothering me. It felt very tight, but not in a good way. Like I said, it was borderline painful. So I ended up washing it off, and my face was actually pretty red where I took off the mask. As I was washing off the mask, those little exfoliating beads were just really painful. Like, it was a very hardcore exfoliator, and my skin just didn't like it. I ended up getting a little rash on my chin and around my nose where I had the mask. And I also feel like, I'll insert pictures here. I took a picture of my skin last night, which would be 2 or 3 days after I tested out the mask. I just have so much dry skin and flakiness around where I put that mask, and if you guys know me, my skin never gets to the point of where it's actually flaking. It's so dry. So I definitely think my skin just didn't love the mask that much. It just didn't work out for me, unfortunately, but I do have very, very sensitive skin, so it might work out for you guys, but unfortunately that just wasn't a hit for me. So I recently picked up 2 things from Amazon. One I talked about recently on my channel, and that is the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. I am not a huge fan of this, you guys. If you want to see my full review, I will have a card right here. You could go check it out. I wear tested this for 10 hours. I compared it to the Liquid Super Stay Foundation, and I just don't love it. First of all, the shade 120, which is what I wear in the liquid foundation as well, was way too light on me, so it kind of made it hard to judge the foundation in that way. It was very light, but I also felt like it wasn't giving me a lot of coverage. I felt like products weren't really lasting on it. They weren't popping, and it just looked very dry. I'm not a huge fan of powder foundations overall, but I really felt like I had high hopes for this because I love the Liquid Super Stay, but this one unfortunately didn't work out for me. If you guys want to see a full in-depth review, definitely go check out that video because I go over everything about this foundation powder. Another Amazon purchase is my absolute favorite sponge, and that is the L'Oreal Blend Artist Infallible Foundation Blender. I love this sponge. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I feel like I talk about this in every single video. It is literally the only sponge I use. I got rid of my beauty blender, and I swear by this sponge. You guys can get it on Amazon for like $6 or $7. It's a great deal. It's very bouncy, and like I said, I feel like it's 100 times better than the beauty blender. I totally got rid of my beauty blender when I tested this out, but there's just something about the material of this sponge that makes your foundation and your concealer look so nice. I love the hot pink color, and I've gone through like 4 or 5 of these sponges now. They're really, really great. The next thing that I want to share with you guys are some goodies from Wet n Wild. I've been loving Wet n Wild recently. I feel like I've loved them forever, but they seriously just get better and better. I think they have the most amazing drugstore and affordable products. So the first thing that I picked up was their Wet n Wild, well, duh, it's Wet n Wild. So the first thing that I picked up from them is their Photo Focus Rose Primer Water. So this is their Prep, Set, and Refresh 3-in-1 primer water. I was a little bit iffy about testing this out because if you guys remember their setting spray that comes in this packaging, I did not like it at all. I didn't love the scent, and I also didn't like the nozzle. The nozzle on there was just not good. It sprayed very heavy, chunky sprays. And then also over the summer in their Flights of Fancy collection, Wet n Wild released a primer water that I also wasn't crazy about. I felt like it didn't do much on my skin, and I also felt like it was a little bit sticky. And again, their sprayers were just never good. They were always really uneven. They left splotches on my face. Definitely not a good situation, but I still wanted to pick this up anyway because I've heard so many people raving about these primer waters. Juicy Jazz, one of my really good friends on YouTube, Emily Blossom, I will have her channel linked down below. She's been loving the coconut one, cucumber one. I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but she's been loving these as well. So I really wanted to test it out, and I'm really happy that I did. Wet n Wild has totally improved the sprayers on these. They're definitely not the most fine. They definitely still have a hefty spray. Definitely could still be a little bit heavy on the skin. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell here. Definitely a thick sprayer, but what's most important to me is by the time it hits my face, the spray is very evenly distributed and it doesn't leave those splotches on my skin. It's just been really pleasant to use. I've only used it twice now, and it has the most amazing scent. I love anything rose, and I've been really into facial sprays lately too, so the fact that that's like all in one is really great. I will definitely keep you guys updated if I see a difference in how it prolongs the wear of my makeup, but so far, off of first impression, I feel like it looks really nice on the skin. It left my skin feeling really hydrated and healthy and glowing when I put it on before my makeup. I have it on under my face today, but definitely let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have tried these sprays, and leave your thoughts in the comments below because I would love to know what you guys think of these. And the next item from Wet n Wild that I picked up is their Color Icon bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil. I believe these are new. They have the new stickers, and I just saw it in my local drugstore the other day. This I have on a little bit on top of my bronzer today. I don't think this is something that I want to recommend to you guys, and I don't think this is something I'm going to be keeping. I really wanted to love this, but if you guys see in this up close swatch, this is definitely very shiny. It's a little bit too warm for my liking, and it's almost like a deep golden highlighter. That is what I'm getting off of the swatch. But when I actually picked it up on the brush and put it on top of my bronzer, I feel like I don't even really see it on my face. All I saw was like a sheen, and there was like no color coming off on my brush. I have tried out so many of Wet n Wild's blushes, blush toppers, highlighters. I love their contour kits. I love a lot of their complexion powder products, but unfortunately I don't think this one is going to be a huge hit to me. I might use this a few more times. I might just go ahead and return it. I'm not exactly sure. I just feel like when it comes to a bronzer formula, this isn't exactly what I love, and it's not exactly what I expected this to be. I just realized I filmed almost this whole entire video without highlighter on. I'm so ashamed of myself. Hold on. I feel like I just need a little something. There we go. I said I was only gonna put on a little bit, and here we are. So now moving on, I want to talk to you guys about my absolute favorite lashes ever. If you guys have been noticing, I've been wearing a lot of lashes in my recent videos. I used to never love wearing lashes. I felt like they were very tedious to put on. The inner corners always popped up. I always felt them on my eyes. I was just never a huge lash person until now, and I discovered these Kiss Trio lashes in their short and medium combo. These have changed my lash game, you guys. I love wearing lashes. These are the lashes that I've worn in my last few videos. If you are someone who is accustomed to a strip lash, you might think that these are more tedious to put on, but to me, these are so much easier than applying a strip lash and way more comfortable. I do not even feel like I have anything on my eyes right now, and I also feel like they are so natural looking. They let your eyeshadow peek through. They don't close your eyes. I have a very weird, I don't want to say weird, I just have a different type of eye shape that I feel like a lot of strip lashes don't work with. I feel like when I wear strip lashes, a lot of them give the effect that I have like a top liner on. They kind of block my eyeshadow. I don't have huge lids, so I feel like these just really are like everything I could ever want in lashes. They are absolutely perfect. If you guys are struggling with strip lashes, I definitely recommend checking out a trio lash. So like I said, it's not as tedious as individual lashes. It's like 3 clusters in one, and they are so easy to apply. You just put a little lash glue on it. You could either put it in that tray right there where it says glue pocket, or if you have a lash glue with a brush like I do, you could just brush it on, and they are so easy to pop on. I'll give you guys a little close-up. These are the lashes I'm wearing right now. So I have 5 trio clusters on each eye, 3 medium length and 2 short length going towards the center of my eye. I absolutely love them. I feel like they almost mimic the look of lash extensions, and I've been wearing lashes a lot more frequently since I found these. I think they're so beautiful. The last grouping of things I want to talk to you guys about are from Colourpop. I went a little Supershock shadow crazy. I picked up 7 Supershock shadows. A few weeks ago they were having 40% off site-wide, and that made all these Supershock shadows under $4 each, besides one of them that was excluded from the sale. But I've really been wanting more Supershock shadows. I picked up Supershock shadows when I first discovered Colourpop about 3 years ago now, so I feel like they're just not as good as quality as they used to be. I feel like because they do dry out over time, they are like a cream to powder cushiony formula. So the ones that I have now are a little bit more on the dry side. So I really wanted to pick up more of them. I also was running out of some of my favorite shades. So I figured I would take advantage of the 40% off, and I picked up 7 of them. So the first Supershock shadow that I picked up in this sale is from the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop collection, from her new Twinkling Lights collection, and that is the shade Blitzen. I really wanted this shadow because it was so different than anything I had in my collection. It's honestly just like a straight up red shade. When you look really close at the shadow, it almost has like a pinkish lilac little reflex in there. It is just a really, really beautiful bright red shadow. I used this in my last video. If you guys want to see it on my eyes, you can go to my last video, which is the chatty get ready with us with my friend Emily. I used it in that video, and then you could also see it in the up close swatch, but it is just so pretty. I definitely am gonna get a lot of use out of this and create different fun looks with it. The next shade that I picked up is the shade Paisley, and I wanted to get this because it looked very similar to one of my favorite Supershocks that I own in the shade Alchemy, which unfortunately was limited edition. I pretty much used up all of my Alchemy, so I wanted to find something to replace it, and I saw that Paisley was very, very similar. This is an ultra glitter formula, but this is described as a sheer glitter. When I swatched it on my hand, this isn't a shadow that has a very strong base shade. It kind of just has a really pretty sheer base and really, really intense, reflective, and bright champagne glitters in there. This is very close to Alchemy. It gives the same exact effect on the lid, and I was wearing this on my lid in my Best of Beauty video and my Amazon video if you guys want to go see how that looks on, but really pretty, and I'm very happy that I have the replacement. Next up here I have the shade Waddles, and this is a different formula of Supershock shadow that I've tried, and this is their satin formula. I've never tried a Supershock that wasn't a metallic or an ultra glitter shade. I wanted to pick this up because I just thought, well, I honestly thought my mom would really like this. I know she's been looking for like an easy, quick eye look. So this is a really pretty brown toned mauve shade, and actually my friend Alex here on YouTube, I will have her channel linked down below. You guys should definitely go subscribe to her. She's awesome. It's kind of more on the cool tone side like my mom is, and she said she really loves how this looks. Just like one and done, just blend it out with your finger on the lid and you're good to go with a little mascara. Next up I have the shade Tassel, which was one I was probably most excited for. This is what I'm wearing on my inner corner today. This is also an ultra glitter formula. This is a straight up white glitter, you guys, which makes me so excited. I do not have a shadow like this in my collection at all. This is just like pure glittery goodness. I love how this looks. It can be a really nice topper, but I feel like this has a very strong base in it, meaning it's opaque. You're not gonna have to put anything underneath it, and it's even more of just like a beautiful white shadow. I feel like that's the best way I could describe it. You guys are gonna see in the swatch, this has so much reflect in it. It's really beautiful. It pairs really nice with the cool tone look that I have on today, and I've been really loving Tassel. Moonwalk is the next shade that I have, and this is an ultra metallic formula. This is kind of the one Supershock shadow in this whole bunch that I never thought I would pick up, and I kind of added this to my cart, and something in my head was like, why are you getting this? You're never gonna use it, but it's just so interesting. So on the website, I believe it was described, not exactly, so don't quote me, but it was described as like a rusty green with an orange yellow duochrome, and I was like, what in the world kind of eyeshadow is that? But I knew I had to have it because it sounded so interesting, and this is what it looks like right here. This is interesting, you guys. I don't know what kind of eye look I could do with this. I feel like this is one of those shadows that you might just need like a light brown in the crease, and then you kind of just smudge it all over the lid for more of a editorial kind of abstract look. But this is really interesting. In some lightings this does look green, and in some light it does look orange. So I don't know if I put it a little closer if you guys will be able to see. It is the most unique shade, and I honestly don't know why I picked it up. It was kind of just on a whim. I was really, really intrigued intrigued by that description. So I'll definitely have to keep you guys updated on how I like this, what kind of colors work best, and things like that. This next shade is the one that I'm actually wearing on my lids right now, and this is Prickly Pear. Again, another ultra glitter formula. I saw this on Colourpop's Instagram literally the night before I ordered, and this was kind of my inspiration for placing the whole order along with the red Kathleen Light shade. This is a very beautiful taupe, but it has a very, very strong lavender undertone. On my lid right here is the shade Prickly Pear. I really love this. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do because you guys know I don't tend to reach for cool tones super often, but this one has a really beautiful like lavender undertone to it. I think it's very, very flattering on my brown eyes, and I feel like I'm going to be reaching for this one a lot more than I thought. I don't know if you guys can see, it has a little bit of a golden taupey reflect in there, which I feel like is why I love it so much and definitely makes it a little bit more wearable for me. And lastly, for Supershock shadows, I picked up the shade I Heart This, which I've been using for years and years and years. I finally needed a replacement of it. Like I said, mine is really dried out, but I love this shade. If you guys are looking for an ultra glitter that's kind of a mix of a silver and a taupe, but it can really lean with either a warm tone look or a cool tone look, I definitely recommend I Heart This. I feel like if you are looking for just like one Supershock that's universal that could go with any eye look you want, I Heart This is my favorite one, and I needed a backup. All right, you guys, we are almost done. Another thing that I have from Colourpop is their Precision Brow Pencil. I picked this up on a whim because I wanted to get 2 free shipping, and this was on sale for $3 when I picked it up that day. I'm not crazy about this. I didn't try it on or anything for you guys in this video because the shade is just too dark for me. The formula is a little bit scary. This does have a very, very creamy and pigmented formula. I feel like if you are someone who likes a brow, like I need to draw on my brows, I need a really creamy pigmented thing. I feel like this is almost like a pomade and a pencil, which I don't really love pomades that much. I prefer pencils and powders just to give a little bit of a softer look to the brow. But I feel like if you like pomades, you're going to like this pencil because that's what the consistency is kind of like. So I'll do a quick swatch for you guys. This is in the shade Bangin' Brunette. I feel like it's just a little bit too dark for me, and also it's just really, really creamy, and I feel like it's just not my favorite formula of brow pencil. That was me like barely pressing down on the pencil, and it leaves a lot of pigment. So I definitely want to continue to play around with this, but when I first tried it, I didn't really like how my brows looked. So the last thing from Colourpop, and the last thing in this whole haul in general, is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. You guys know I absolutely love this concealer. It has an amazing, amazing formula. It is so high coverage, so easy to blend, and it just has a great formula. So I wanted to pick up another shade. This is the shade Light 18. I wanted something to mix with my current shade Light 16 that I was using. I found that everything was good about this concealer, but it was just a smidge too light underneath my eye. So the next shade down, which is the one I picked up, Light 18, is a smidge too dark for underneath my eye. So I find that my perfect no filter concealer shade is mixing Light 16 and Light 18 together, and that's a really good shade for underneath my eyes. However, though, Light 18 is a really good shade for spot concealing on my face. It typically matches my foundations really nicely, and I like having a darker shade for concealing blemishes and stuff like that. Sometimes I will be lazy and use the same concealer underneath my eyes on my face, and then you can see like the lighter spots. So I just wanted something a little bit deeper for that, but I'm gonna go ahead right here and pop up swatches so you guys can see the comparisons between Light 18 first, then Light 16, and then the lightest shade that I own is Fair 08, which is way too light for me. Definitely doesn't come anywhere close to my skin tone. I kind of bought this one thinking that I could use it as like a lightening shade to lighten up any foundations, or if I get a concealer that's way too dark, I could use it to lighten up that as well. Alright, you guys, so that is going to complete this makeup haul as well as mini reviews. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this style of haul. I hope it was more informational and entertaining, and I just hope that you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my new videos, click that notification bell down below and you will get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!